Hey guys, back with another Maple Story M video here. This time I'm on the Angelic Buster. First time playing it, well, posting a video since V2. Now, if any of you, the few of you that play Angelic Buster, you guys know that they got a little bit of a rework post V2. Their V1 iframe is much different. So really, it takes a little bit. It's not the same gameplay or style when it comes to fighting hard Magnus now compared to post pre V2. So that took a little bit getting used to, but I still think Angelic Busters are in a pretty good place. Still a lot of fun, one of my favorite classes to play. And it just took a little bit of time getting used to when to use the iframe. If you're an Angelic Buster main who wants to know what to do, how it's changed, I've been using the iframe, proccing the iframe skill right after he does his slow ability, and then I prop the torrent right after, so then it immunes the slow and then that next dash skill or spin skill, sorry. So you'll see right here, after this spin, he's gonna slow, then I'm gonna pop the burst right here, and then torrent, right? And then I'm gonna pop it again to proc the orbs, maximize the damage, and then after that, I'm gonna avoid that. I'm gonna stop the torrent, but I got pretty good value out of it, and then I'm gonna jump away and avoid the dash altogether. Now that's a little challenging, getting the timing right, but that's pretty much the ideal time that I've found to maximize that torrent skill and the iframe at the same time. But in this video, other than talking about Angelic Buster, I want to talk about kind of the first three things that I tell any player that's having a hard time clearing hard Magnus, the three things that they have to do as pretty much baseline basic in order to pass. And the first one is pretty obvious. The first one is you have to know the rotation of hard Magnus. Kind of going in blind, reacting instead of anticipating is really just not the answer consistently. You're just going to have a very hard time clearing, even if you have the best gear in the world, and you're going to be spending a lot of resources if you don't sort of anticipate or prep when you're going to move and dodge skills. And if you're just reacting, it's just not going to work. So the second thing is you have to know what defensive skills, utilities, abilities you have to when those situations where things don't go your way or as you anticipated, right? You can't always anticipate exactly what's going to happen. So you kind of have to prepare for those instances where maybe he did a skill sooner than you expected, or you're in an awkward position with RNG and orbs and you can't get out of it. So you have to know, do you have an iframe available? Do you have to use a couple PEs? Do you have a stun? Something like that to help you get out of those situations where you ultimately can't get out of. And then thirdly, you have to know how your class does damage, right? Are you a bursty class that relies heavily on cooldowns, or are you more of a consistent damaging class that is pretty across the board, consistent from minute to minute, and you don't really have big bursty cooldowns? So for example, Angelic Buster, pretty consistent across the board in hard Magnus anyways. Their cooldowns are pretty short. It's about a 1 minute cooldown, so it's up pretty frequently. And versus like a Night Lord who has Barrage that is high burst, but once Barrage comes down, then they don't do much damage at all, right? So you have to understand that this is important, because if your cooldowns are down and you're very bursty, right, then you have to play a little bit more defensive. You can't get the kill or do a lot of damage during that time. So it's just about surviving until your cooldowns are up. But let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.